हरे कृष्णा। मैं नवनीत व्यास एस्ट्रो चैनल में आप लोगों का फिर से बहुत बहुत स्वागत करता हूं। एंड टुडे वी हैव अगेन नंदिता जी फ्रॉम रुद्रा वैदिक एकेडमी. She's a wonderful team member. And today, as we promised in the last video, we are going to discuss the mythological stories behind the nakshatras, and we are going to start with the first nakshatra, Ashwini. So how this video will go is she'll explain little bit of the characteristics of Ashwini, and then followed by some mythological stories, and then I'll tell you how these stories and these characteristics help you identify yourself in your chart. If you have Ashwini as a Janam Nakshatra, or if your moon is in Ashwini, or I mean, it's the same thing. Or if you have Sun or Mars or any other planet in Ashwini, right? How do you relate, and how do you get the information from these stories that can help you find what exactly you are and why you are here? So Nandita ji, you're welcome on Vyasa Astro channel. And why don't you start with the introduction on Ashwini, and what do you have in the stories?
Thank you, Guruji. And again, it's an honor. I'm so excited to start this series. So today, again, we're going to talk about Ashwini Nakshatra. So that naturally we're going to talk about the twins, the Ashwini Kumars, which are mentioned in so many scriptures, all depicting their amazing struggle to be accepted by the gods, and their struggle to actually their quest to acquire knowledge of immortality. So, through all the stories, the one common thing that I found was their persistence, their patience, their intelligence, their dedication, and just being focused in getting to their goal. So there are many stories, and in all the different stories, the common things that you find, they're personified as the physicians to the gods, the celestial twins, handsome, intelligent, quick, fast, beautiful, healthy, strong characters, right? And they're also symbolized in some of the stories as they're the symbol of sunrise and sunset, and there's a story associated with that too. And hopefully we'll get into that. Maybe you could explain that a little bit. There were so many stories, hard to pick. But, known for their amazing golden chariot, right? That they fly across the sky, sprinkling their healing energies on earth, right? So who are they? There's so many good things about them. Who are they? They're very important. They are the twins born to the sun god Surya, and the goddess of cloud, goddess Sanjana. Okay, so very strong lineage. They're the twin brothers of Shani, Saturn, Yama, and Yamuna. So it's a very, very strong family, right? Surya had asked them when they were born to study and Ayurveda and worship Brahma. And they studied hard and they worshiped Brahma. They meditated on him, and Brahma was so impressed by them that he gave them a boon to be extremely handsome, beautiful, and have amazing knowledge when it came to Ayurveda. So they took this as their responsibility and became the physicians to the gods. And because of their nature, and they were such amazing two brothers and great people, great gods, I should say, demigods, right? They were great healers, and their knowledge was, when it came to Ayurveda, just immense knowledge, right? So not only do they help the gods, but they also help the people on earth. In fact, they loved to help people on earth, not just when it came to healing, not just when it came to just, helping someone medically, but also in all their troubles, any obstacles they had. They were just very well-natured people.
Very true. Yeah.
Right. So one of the stories that really shows who they are, and it shows good characteristics and characteristics that they, kind of struggle with, right? So,
Right.
and it's true in all the nakshatras. So the first story that I'd like to kind of briefly sum it up, and it could get into a lot of detail, but it's a story of Princess Sukanya and Rishi Chavan. Okay.
Yeah.
Very famous story. I mean, whenever somebody talks about Ashwini Kumar, that's one of the stories that's definitely included.
Right.
So since the Ashwins spent so much time on earth helping people, one day, they noticed the princess
Yeah.
who was extremely beautiful.
Yeah.
And Ashwin Kumar's, in their usual fashion of quick, fast, and being very
Energetic.
spontaneous,
Yes, spontaneous, energetic. Yeah.
and in a playful way,
Yeah.
went up to the princess and said, "You're so beautiful. You should live with the gods in the heavens. Come with us."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And little do they know that the princess was actually a very devoted and dedicated wife of Rishi Chavan.
Yeah.
Who was old and who was blind.
Yeah.
Right. But she had devoted herself to him. And when she explained that to him, she was very upset, but the Ashwins quickly realized that they made a mistake, and they apologized. And she did accept their apology, but, asked something in return. She knew who they were. And she said, "I accept your apology, but I want something in return. And I will also share something with you that's very important to you." So in short, they agreed because they're very helpful people and they want to heal and help the Rishi. So they made him into a young, handsome man and gave his eyesight back, right? And the princess kept her promise and told the Ashwins that, you guys, you are gods, but you're incomplete. And they were like, they didn't understand why. And she said, "You need to drink the soma. You don't drink the soma. The rest of the gods drink the soma, and they're extremely strong and they're immortal. And, that's what makes you really a true god." So the Ashwins took that and said, "Wow, okay, we need to start our journey and find soma, right?" So that's one of the stories. There's another version of the story. We're not going to get into every single version because there's a lot.
Yeah,
but
and one thing I'd like to little add something to it is that when they made Rishi Chavan back to looking like a young person, or blindness was gone, they actually made something called Chavan Prash.
Yes.
Right, and
yes.
which is there in the modern era as well. So by adding and getting a lot of jadi booties and herbal plants and everything, they've made a process called Chavan Prash. And there are some stories where the Rishi Chavan has made it. There are some classics say that as well, right? To rejuvenate himself, right? So we find the similar stories from different classics, right? But the take home is the Chavan Prash, right?
Yeah.
So Ashwini people, if you're born in Ashwini Nakshatra, you want to stay fit, you want to stay healthy and young, you need to consume the Chavan Prash, right? Very, very important. Go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. And people swear by it. People have it all the time in India. I know, I've heard of it. People give it to their children. They drink it as an adult, right? And that comes from that story, which is to this day, people use that. So in their search for soma and how to get the soma, right? And naturally, they're healers. Naturally, they know a lot about Ayurveda, right? So they're curious. They want to know what this is, right? They want to learn about it. So the second story gets them that, right? So this is a story of Rishi Dadichi, right?
Dadichi,
and the Madhu Veda, right? That he had, right?
Yes.
Now, he was a great Rishi, and through his penance and everything, Indra himself shared that knowledge.
Yeah,
with
the
him.
Madhuveda, right? Yeah.
Madhuveda knowledge,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Because that was the knowledge of immortality, right?
Right.
And
Right.
Indra did not want everyone to know that, right? But he
Yeah.
shared it with him because he was so impressed by Rishi
Didiji.
Didiji.
Yeah.
But it was, he made him have that knowledge, but also told him that you are not to share that with anyone,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And if you did, I will cut your head off.
Right.
Right. So Rishi Didiji never shared it with everyone. But the Ashwini Kumars, he hadn't met them yet. Ashwini Kumars were very persistent, right?
Yeah.
Were very clever, right?
Yeah.
They begged Rishi Didiji to share the knowledge.
Yeah. I think they
right?
convinced him, right?
Yeah, they convinced
somehow.
him, right?
Yeah.
They convinced him, but they convinced him by making sure that they came up with a plan where even if Indra cut Didiji's head off, then they would be able to put his original head back. So they were very smart, right? And because of their knowledge in Ayurveda, they replaced the Rishi's head with a horse, right? And preserved his original head.
Yeah.
And so in that, of course, sure enough, Indra found out that Rishi Didiji disobeyed him, cut his head off. And because Ashwini Kumars are fast, they went and got the preserved head, put it back on Rishi's head, and the Rishi was fine. But now they know the knowledge of immortality, right? So the story itself is fascinating because it shows so many good things about the twins, right? Their persistence, their quick thinking, their knowledge. I love the story because it really shows who they are. These two stories really show who they are, right?
Yeah.
And the horse's head became the Ashwini constellation. Right.
Yes.
So that is a very, I would say, 5 minutes of mythology of Ashwini, and it could be 5 days, really.
Absolutely.
But through these stories, I would like to help people sort of remember the characteristics of Ashwini. And so, because the stories always have
right. That's so beautifully summarized by you. So, Nandita, you know what? How do we take the inputs from these stories and charts? That is the most important thing. So first thing I've seen is that I've seen a lot of doctors who were born in Ashwini, right? Either their moon is in Ashwini, or their ascendant is in Ashwini, or their sun, which is a natural Atma Karak, is in Ashwini, or their Mars is in Ashwini, right? Something, if you're a doctor, if you're a healer, and you are young, and you are quick, and you are impulsive, right? You need to have something associated with Ashwini.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
The doctor is not just the medical doctor, right? You and I are also doctors, right? Because we are healing people, but not with the medicine, but with the spiritual. And you know what? If I show you my chart, my ascendant is in Ashwini.
Wow. Wow. I have my Saturn in Ashwini.
Yeah. Yes, that's what we are here for, right? My ascendant is in Ashwini. And you've seen in the videos that I like cars.
Yes.
Right? The golden chariot that you're talking about.
Yes.
Right. And I like fast cars.
Yes.
Right. And when I was like in my 20s, I used to drive very fast. Right. I was energetic. I wanted to be here, there, right? Very quickly from one place to another place. And the only dream I had from my childhood was to purchase fast cars, luxurious cars, right? And then when I entered 30s, another thing that added on was to heal others, right?
Yes.
So I'm running here, I'm running there, meeting people whole day and trying to heal them.
Yes.
Right. So what we are getting, see, the story is there with the Ashwini brothers, right? And you know what? My Lagan Lord, I'm an Aries ascendant. right?
Right.
And my Lagan Lord Mangal is sitting in the third house, right? So the third house is headed by the dual sign of
Yes.
Gemini,
Right.
right? So if you have either ascendant as Ashwini and your Lagan Lord is in a dual sign, there are very, very strong chances of you being twin brothers, and you'll have goosebumps. I am a twin brother. I have
Yes.
another brother who is just 5 minutes younger to me. Right.
Wow. Wow.
Right. So we are twins, right?
Yeah.
And I've
And
told this in many of my videos that we are twins, and I have another brother who's just 5 minutes younger to me.
yes, yes, I was
Right.
very surprised to learn that too. And I'm
Right.
wondering if I have the connection too, because I have my Saturn in Ashwini in my sixth house, and I have twins myself, boy and a girl.
Wow. See,
Yeah.
can,
So
wow. So see, what are we learning from the stories? We are learning that whatever is taught in the stories, whatever is coming from the stories, those things will be somehow associated with you,
yes.
right? Like I'm a great fan of Chyawanprash. I don't know where it come from. And whenever I have any health problems, I prefer Ayurveda over any allopathic medicine. That's the
Yeah.
first thing that and that is why we have either homeopathic doctors or we have Ayurveda doctors on board of Rudra Vedic Academy.
Yes.
Dr. Pooja and Dr.
Yeah.
Shruti. So what we are doing is, and then most of my astrology, I have given my life for medical astrology and Vastu, right?
Right.
So that is what that we've dedicated to, and I'm coming up with a new Vastu concept called Nava Vastu, which I'll be launching this Diwali, right?
Yes.
And it is
I'm
going to
so
be the
excited.
first time itself in the world, right? My latest research, you can call it anything. You call it a book, you call it a granth, whatever you want to call it, you can call it. But that's me, right?
Yeah.
And that is called Navavastu, right? And again, what is Navavastu is that I'll be going to different places, right?
Right.
And I'm gonna heal people there, right?
Yes.
So again, the Ashwini factor, you're
Ashwini
running
factor.
here, there, and then, so that's
Yeah.
that's how you take the the characteristics from the nakshatras,
Stories.
the
Yeah.
mythology, and then you put it in a chart, and you'll
Yeah.
find thousands of relevant things coming in the chart, right? So that is
Yeah.
why we see this is not the complete video on Ashwini, because if I teach Ashwini in my lectures in Nakshatra batch, and a lecture is 2 hours and at least 3 days, so 6 hours.
Yeah.
We discuss the Yoga Tara degrees, the transits, the padas, like the four padas, in the four padas as Aries
Yeah.
and Taurus and Gemini and Cancer, four padas of the Ashwini. So if you're a doctor, what kind of a doctor you are? Are you a surgeon, right? Are you a
Yeah.
dermatologist, right? Are you if you're into Mercury pada, right, which is the third
Right.
pada, right? You can be someone who's working with the nerves. You can be a
Yeah.
neurologist.
Psychologist.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Yeah.
So many details are there for each
Yeah.
nakshatra, and I would prefer people to go back and watch our videos on the lectures that I've taken with Rudra Vedic Academy, or they can join the nakshatra course.
Yeah.
So we penetrate very, very deep into a nakshatra,
Right.
from the minutest of the details that we are going to share. So we'll carry on this legacy, Nandita. So
Yes.
I'm eagerly waiting, and I wish you all the very best for your vacations. I know that you're going to have a blast for 6 days,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And once you come back on Friday or Saturday, you promise me to shoot the video immediately, right?
Yes.
I
We're
need
going to
that.
do Birdie next.
Yeah,
Right.
we'll do Birdie next, right? Right.
Yes.
And so we'll try to relate. And see, what we're trying to do is we're giving you the classic information, and we're trying to build interest in the mythology. That's
Yes.
our aim. And then we're trying to relate that to the Kundlis and the horoscopes and Vedic Jyotish, right?
Yeah. This is great, just to kind of for someone who is curious in astrology, just to know the mythology, right? Because
Yes.
if you're not going to be an astrologer, it may be very hard for a normal person who's just simply curious to learn about their chart, to remember all the
Right.
details.
Yeah.
So at the gist of it, if you understand these characters, you'll be able to understand your chart or anyone else that you're dealing with that happens to be in that nakshatra. So this is a great way to start. If you're interested, who knows, maybe you'll end up taking all of our classes,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
We have a
absolutely.
nakshatra class going on that's starting soon. We have the Vastu class starting. We
Yeah.
have the Jyotish
Charya.
Charya class starting,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So yeah, come join us and it's going to be great.
Yes,
If you're
absolutely.
really up for it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. And
Absolutely.
I think this was a great information for all of you watching this video. Do subscribe to our channel, and if you like the video, please do share it. And you can write your experience in the comment box. You can tell if you are associated with Ashwini, or if you have a planet in Ashwini, what
Yeah.
are and how can you relate to what is being told in this video, right? So we'll come up
Yeah.
with another video. Till then, I wish all the very best to all my viewers, and have a wonderful time ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.